Sup guys, Chris here from Mainely Mesh. I've got 2 breaks in my glasses now, which means I'm twice as smart, of course, and we are now launching into our newest review series where we're going to be digging into the dirt underneath new cleats out on the market. So these are the new Huarache 5 cleats by Nike. Pretty cool looking cleats. Really excited when they first did the teaser pictures of the Thompson version. Those are not yet available, but they have, I believe, a blue, red, and a gray and white version. So blue, red, gray, white. All are kind of incorporating a more metallic feel. It seems to be the name of the game with Nike right now. And this new kind of interlocking pattern that I thought was more of a reference to the native braid, but it's actually where they got their inspiration from. They said is Chinese finger traps. So as your foot is expanding, it'll add a little friction to keep it snugly in place while still being a pretty light cleat. I'm gonna start with the aesthetics and then go into more of a performance review with another video coming later about it. Aesthetically, they look very similar to the Huarache 4s, and Nike says this straight up. If you look at the sole of the cleat, it's the same exact plastic mold at the bottom. Even the toe vents are very similar. The profile, the only main difference in the profile is this Chinese finger trap looking get up, and then the biggest aesthetic difference is obviously the cutaway here with the thin piece of fabric shell extending slightly higher up than the Huarache 4 does. Taking these out of the box, I mean, I was a little disappointed in the aesthetic look of it, especially for the all white. I think the black is going to look amazing, and what I'm using to kind of support that is, so I have the whatever the heck these are, the free runner somethings, just the regular sneaker version of this, and in the black it looks a lot more subtle. I think the gaps don't stand out as much. Obviously it's woven a little bit different, but it just seems to work a little better in black than it does in some of the colors that they have. So that was kind of interesting. I'm gonna send these back and wait for the black versions to be released later on. I'm not sure when. And the cutout is interesting aesthetically, but I think is going to have more serious repercussions when you're talking about performance. To me, the Huarache line has always been kind of a mid-high cleat, and that's definitely what I prefer as a player. But what you're going to notice, and hopefully I'm going to cut away to a nice little shot of me putting on these shoes, is it really sits right below the little bone jutting out of your ankle. And so if you were to remove these, and if you wanted to be crazy and cut these off and destroy a nice pair of shoes, I mean, it really sits more like the Nike Vapor does, with just really an extended tongue. And although you can tie the lace into these upper portions and you know, really kind of tie that down, it still is going to provide extra mobility in the ankle, which, if you're looking at it from a you know, north-south speed perspective, is probably an advantage. But if you're looking at it from a kind of in the trenches, mid-high lateral cutting cleat, isn't going to be as supportive. So something to keep in mind, like for me, I haven't always had the strongest ankles, so I preferred the mid-high cleat to give me a little bit more support, and I don't think it's going to quite lend that amount of support. But really, in terms of when you put these on, you're not going to notice much of a difference from the Huarache 4. The biggest reason you're going to want to pick these up is because of the new aesthetic look. It's going to feel like a little bit lower of a cleat. That's going to be the only difference you're going to feel. It fits the same exact way that the Huarache 4 does, because it's got the same sole, pretty much the same width in the midsection of the foot. It's got the same exact toe box, so there isn't going to be any extra wiggle room for your toes. The sizing is exactly the same as the Huarache 4s. I would give these cleats on a scale of 10 probably a 7 or a 7.5. For Nike, I'm glad that they didn't go back to the extremely narrow cleats that they've been doing for a lot of football cleats and the Huarache 3s. So they didn't take a step back, but they also, in my opinion, didn't quite take a huge step forwards, which I'm always hoping they do. Would love to see a little bit more room in the toe box because I feel like as lacrosse players we do a lot more lateral cutting, and an additional room in the toe box can make that cutting a little bit more easy. But overall, in terms of the midsection of the foot and the heel, sits pretty well. Would love to see them kind of slip up the back of the shoe a little bit more to make it that mid-high cleat that it used to be, that 3/4 cleat. Overall, cool stuff. Nice to see Nike spending more energy on lacrosse and resources as well. Let me know if you have any questions about it below. I'm going to be doing some on-field reviews for these as well, but those are going to be coming later down the line once I get more of these cleats in the store. Yeah, questions down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there are any other specific cleats you'd like me to test out. I know the Banshees will be on that list. The highlight cleats will be on that list. Probably going to throw in some of the Vapor Carbons. And then I know there's a bunch of new cleats coming out for the 2016 year, and hopefully we'll be reviewing those as well. So let me know what cleats you'd like to see me review down below. Thanks so much for watching. I will catch you guys next time.